Alright guys, I have a bit of a problem. I was riding down the woods here with the 210, and my neighbors ride their quads down here, and it's usually pretty dry. But I got a little ambitious, and it's hard to see here, but I started coming down this hill here, and I realized the hill got too steep, and when I went to take it out of gear to back up, it rolled down the hill, and this happened. So, you can see the back wheels are just sunk in, and this is part of the irrigation creek where our pond used to be when we had the farm here, and it's a big ditch basically. There's this hill here, and thanks to stupid daylight savings time, we don't have any light to really work on this. So for today, or for tonight, she's just gonna have to stay there, which I'm kind of skeptical about, but it's not going anywhere. Tomorrow we're going to get my uncle's Ford and come down here and tow it out, so we'll see how that goes. So we'll get it figured out. Alright guys, so last night, as you guys saw the quick clip, the 210 got stuck, and it basically rolled down the hill because the clutch slipped. I got too close and it went into the mud, and I was just rocking it back and forth, and I was only digging holes. I wasn't getting it out. So today my uncle came down while I was at school and hooked up the Ford tractor to it with a chain and pulled it out. So I'm going to see, he texted me and said, "I got it out for you," and I said thanks. So I'm just walking down here to see what happened to it and try and get it started. Alright, my next challenge is actually trying to find it, because I mean I can see my uncle went through here. I told him to follow the path. My neighbor actually created these paths with his quad because he rides down here. So let's see if we can find it. It was pretty deep into the woods, but he got it up the hill, that's all I know. And hopefully he got it up to the top of the slope, because I can't push it up that slope either. So she's back here somewhere. So let's keep going, let's see. Yep, here she is. She doesn't look too bad. I'm sure the tire's probably flat. Let's just check it out. Doesn't look too bad. I'm just afraid the front axle hit somewhere and might have broken it or something. But here she is. I mean, she looks pretty good to me. The paint's not really scratched up, just dirty in a couple spots. That'll wipe off. Oh crap! Well, what do you know? The ball joint's broke. I'll have to ask my uncle about that. It must have hit something pretty hard. Now this is what happened here. I'm surprised they actually got the tractor to fit through here. I was coming down here. This is the creek where the irrigation pond used to be. And what happened was I was coming down here, and I forgot that the creek comes around here. And I stopped right about here, and I went to back up, and when I shifted it into neutral, when you shift from fourth into reverse, you have to go into neutral, and when I shifted it into neutral, it started rolling down, and I hit the clutch, but the clutch couldn't stop it, and in she went, and that's the aftermath. So yeah, and then you can see, it's hard to see here, but all this up here is swamp. It's all wet, so but yeah, that's where she was. She just kept digging holes, and yeah, I wish I had some video of my uncle pulling it out, but earlier today was the only time that he had to come down. So anyway, she's out now, as you can see. I'm thankful that my uncle had time to do it. You can see he pushed a couple trees down here with the bucket just to get through here, because otherwise he wouldn't be able to do that. And there you go. So now I'm going to get the jumper and try and get her started and see if we can drive her back on a broken tie rod. It's not a good idea, but I can't tow it. So my uncle just had to push it back here, I think. So we'll see what happens. Okay guys, so yesterday was a failed attempt to get the tractor started and back home. Like you guys saw, the ball joint on the front axle, or the front tie rod, was broke, so we had to wire it up, and I had to be careful. Well, I have to be careful bringing it home because I don't want the wiring to slip off, because then I won't be able to steer it. Because those old tractors, for some reason, they only have one tie rod for the steering. So I'm coming down here with the Cub Cadet right now, because this is the only tractor we have available right now that can fit back there, because my grandfather's car ain't going to be able to fit back there. So I mean, he can take it off the street, but once we get into the woods, it won't fit. So he's coming down with his car, and he's bringing his jumper cables, and I'm going to try and jump it with this tractor to get it started, and then see if I can back it out of there. And then he's going to take the Cub Cadet back, and I guess my grandmother's going to have to come and take the car back or something. But I'm going to try driving the 210, and if that don't work, we're going to have to do a little redneck in here. I have a hitch pin in a clevis pin in there, and I'm going to back it up and stick the pin through both hitch plates and try and pull it the redneck way without using a tow strap. See if we can get it home without having to steer it. And we'll see how that goes. Alright, well, good news. I've got the battery cable hooked up, and after a single crank, she fired up. So now we got to get the Cub Cadet and bring her home. My grandfather took the key, so I'm just waiting for him. The ball joint's busted, so I have to keep turning the right wheel by hand. But we're gonna get it home. He had to run back to the house and get a tank of air because the back tire's flat and can't run. So, right now let's bring the Cub home, and this will be the last time I go in here for quite a while with the tractor anyway. Once I get some field tracks for it, or all trails rather, I might be able to come down here, but I'm just going to be careful of that ridge right there because it runs, over the years it's eroded so much that it's just a whole big ditch. It's already warm. That's one of our old tree stands. It just fell down. I went down here with when I first came in here with this, and I cut a path, so this really needs to be cleaned up because it's just so worn from use. Well, she's finally out. Had a bit of a problem though, because as usual, the back tire's flat. So my grandfather decided to run back and get a little compressor so we can blow that thing up. And I don't know what's taking him so long, but I'm just kind of waiting. Like I said before, once we got the cables hooked up and let it charge for a second, it only cranked once and fired right up after sitting in the cold for 2 days. So that's a pretty good sign. We'll get her home after this and see what we can do about this broken ball joint. I ordered a new one, but I just got to figure out how to take the old one off and put the new one on. Well, we're trying. We got the tire blown up, and I'm running third gear with the variator forward about as fast as I want to go with it without having the thing slip. And I haven't had to turn it much, so the ball joint should be fine for now anyway. When I get up here to the other turns, I'm going to have to probably get off and move it. Alright, so here's a look at the aftermath again, now that I finally got her home. Just, like I said earlier, it's actually surprisingly, there's no scratches on the paint or anything. It's just, I mean, there's a couple scuffs, but that's just from rubbing it and things like that. Here's the back tire that we had to blow up. It's still holding air. You can see the mud all around the rim. I'm going to have to hose that off. We put in just enough air to get it home. I'm doing some more work on it. I mean, I can't really do anything with it now until I get that ball joint, and then I got to figure out how to get it off. Get the old one off. You can kind of see it in there. Hard to tell, but the tie rod, you can see the broke tie rod. That's all that really matters. And then this, it's like it's pivoted in, so and that explains why it's not back straight in, because when I was backing it in, it was dragging and turned it aside like that. So yeah, so I'll get that straightened out in a couple days. I have a lot of things that I'm doing to this tractor right now to get it straightened out, once and for all. I have ordered a ball joint, so I'm going to put that on once that comes. I just spent the past hour taking the carburetor off. You can't see here, but I took it off because I'm still having trouble with it. I think something's wrong with the float, because I soaked it in Napa carb cleaner and tested it and everything, and it's still not quite right. It's better than it was before, but it's still not right. And I think it's the float. I think the float has a crack in it or something, because when the float gets a crack, it gets gas in it, and then the float moves up and down like this, and it just sinks. When there's gas in it, it just sinks to the bottom, and it doesn't act like it's supposed to. So we're taking that to a farmer friend of ours who's going to check that out for me. So that's the next thing. There's the air cleaner and everything. I got a latch for the front grill, because before what we had to do was tape it on like another redneck repair. We duct taped and zip tied it down. So I'm going to get some rivets for this, and then put the grill on the right way. And that's just about it. And then tomorrow, actually, I'll make some more pictures and videos, but tomorrow I'm actually going out to Pottstown, Pennsylvania, to Little's John Deere dealer, real small John Deere dealer out there on Pottstown Pike, and they specialize in lawn and garden equipment and no agricultural equipment at all, because they're like in the middle of the woods. And I bought a mower deck for this tractor. It's a 46-inch. It's a Model 47 deck off of a 212, and it has all the mounting hardware. It's got rebuilt spindles, which is a great thing to have, and it has both belts in it too. The primary belt isn't in great shape, but I'll see if I can make it work. So I really just lucked out on this, and I'll make a video of that tomorrow, and you guys will get to see it. And once we get the tractor running, I'll see if the deck works. So here she is right now. Another update, since you guys haven't seen it in a while. There you guys go. Take care.